Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. And this is my buddy Puccini, who helps me in the craft room. A very reluctant participant this afternoon. And he generally keeps me company and comes and sits in my work. All right, today I have the fifth in my series on masculine cards, and this one is a little bit more interesting. This one I was inspired by Anne Melvin, who's Positively Papercraft, who did something similar to this, and this is my take on what she did. And she just went to Google and got pictures of ties. And then she picked a color scheme and a kind of pattern that she liked, and that's what inspired her. So this is my take on that card. So let's just get started. This is the first card that I did, and it's got this little strip across here, and it's got a little happy birthday down here. Then on the inside, it's got a white, a turquoise. This is the one that I've done so far. Now, in order to make this card, we need a black base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Then we need 2 pieces of the turquoise here cut, and this is cut so it has a very slim border. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. One for the inside, one for the outside, and then we have a piece that fits in here, and I'm trying to think. So this one is cut just 1/8 of an inch shorter than that, so 4 by 5 1/4, if I remember exactly. We'll measure them just to make sure. Then you need a strip of this turquoise, and it needs to be about, in order to come across here and be able to cut in an angle, it needs to be at least 5 1/2. 6 is a little bit more comfortable. And then you need one that is 1/8 larger. So if this is 1 1/2 across this way, so 1 1/2 by 6, then we need 1 5/8 in the black by 6 to back this piece. And what I did, this one, I used a retired embossing folder, that old paint embossing folder. So on this one, what I've done is I did this one on a current folder, and it's called So Swirly Embossing Folder. And so I did this one on this, and I'm going to put that into place. And I'm going to use liquid glue on this. Because it's so heavily embossed, I think using liquid glue on this and making sure that you've got plenty of glue across the back of this is pretty important. And there we go. Plus you get to wiggle it around, and when you have this small a margin, you're probably going to have to wiggle it around to get it to fit. But there we go. So there's our piece on there. Then we have this piece to fit on the inside, and let's just go ahead and put those pieces in place. So first I'm going to put this turquoise color, and like I say, I think that's Summer Splash, and I'll verify that when I finish the video, and I'll make sure that that's up on there for you to see. And there we go. That's put into place. And now my white layer. that into place. And there we can see all of our colors. And that's just about it. Now, what I did was I went through a lot of different versions of what I'd like to see on the outside of this. So the one that's here is the one that's embossed in silver. Then I did one where I did the embossing in black, so you can see the shine on there. So it's got a piece that could go across here in the shiny black leaves. You'll have to tell me what you think about that. Then I did one, you remember the old silver paste that we used to have? I think we've only got the white paste right now, but this was the silver paste, which I liked a lot as well. And the pastes you have to let dry a little bit. This is one that I did using this embossing folder, and I'll show you exactly what I did. And I inked this in craft glue. So if you want to see what the finish would look like, if we put it over this one, that's what that one would look like. This one would look like this, which is the silver. This one, which has the black shiny embossing piece. This is one I did in the white paste that could fit over this. So, oh, and you could do narrower strips and put two. I think on Anne's she did 2 strips. Then I was messing around trying to decide what I liked, and I used a blending brush, and I just used black ink, and I really liked the way that one came out. So I have all of these choices, and you do too, to try different kinds of things that might work. And this, if you used one of these, you might want to put your happy birthday in white craft ink, or emboss it in white powder. Either way would kind of work. And so what I started to do, and I'll bring that back over here so you can see what it was I did. I wanted to see this one across a whole piece. So I kind of put this one down here. Oh, and it didn't stay put. So I need to move this folder to where it was when I used the black ink. And so I thought what I would do is show you on this one, because I think this is the one I'm going to use on this card. And this one is already stenciled on the top. And I thought I'd stencil this one because we're going to need one little strip for the inside. So I'm going to take my Momento ink and one of these small blending brushes, and I've got this taped down, and what I've been doing is taking a piece of something. In this case I'm going to use just a piece of Post-it note paper, and I'm going to put this down so I can not get ink on my fingers, presumably, and start getting the black ink down here, and you can see it goes on pretty easily. And again, it's just using the Momento black ink and running across this stencil to get the look that you want. And that's exactly what I did with the craft ink as well, to get that kind of white look. And that one fades a little bit. I really like the way that one looked as well. You'll have to let me know which of these you kind of liked the best. This is going to have to be re-inked, I think, after this. But there's a lot of different things you can do. And if you have a favorite stencil, any kind of big swirl, in fact, a black stencil that had the big swirls across this paper like this, I think would be very, very pretty. And the larger the swirl, or the larger the pattern, I think the better it might look. But anyway, I thought I would show you exactly what I did to get this stencil inked. And it's actually pretty darn simple. You just use your blending brush and come across and get everything inked up. Now this one is going to get a label on it that says black ink, so I don't mix it up with anything else in case I want to do this again. And so I'm going to pull this end up because it looks like it might be over the stencil, just right on the edge. Put this in place here and make sure I've got that inked. Probably don't need to do the whole thing because I just need a strip, but I wanted to make sure that it was completely covered. Okay, now I'm going to pull that up and we'll see what we've got. And there we have our two pieces all inked up. And I'll take that stencil in when I'm done here and wash it off under the water. But there are my two strips, and I think they came out really kind of pretty. And I see I missed my mark on that one, so this is the one we'll use on the inside and use this bottom piece. But then you need a piece of black. Okay, so for this one we need about looks like 1/2 inch. I'm going to go ahead and cut this at 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to cut, I thought I had done it, but I don't see one. So I'm going to cut this. This is 1 1/2 plus 1/8, so 1 5/8. And then this is cut at 5 1/2. And that will back our piece like this. Oops, I cut it way too big. But that's all right, I can trim it down. Looks like at least 1/4 inch needs to come off of that, and maybe 5/8 or 3/8. Let's see, how's that? That'll do it. Okay. So this black piece ends up being 1 3/8, and this piece ends up being 1 1/4. So that's going to mat on there, and then this piece we can mat on here, just set it where we need, and then we'll slice it off on the other side. Okay, so here we go, onward. So I've chosen to put this black inked one on this card, and so here I have this ready to be mounted on here. And again, very slim margin, so I'm going to use my liquid glue so that I can wiggle this one around if I need to. This end is put flush up against here, and then we've got a similar margin top to bottom. On the sides here. There we go. All right, so that one is matted, and that's the one that's going to go across there. I think that's real attractive. Very nice. And so again, wet glue on the back of this. And put this into place right here. Maybe down a little further on this one. Right there. And that's going to clear on both sides. And then I'm going to use my snips and trim that up. Probably could have done that before I put this piece on here. Now, I have my happy birthday here. I'm going to go ahead and continue to make this one happy birthday. I'll ink up my happy birthday and put it right on this piece here. Hope I'm not getting my head in the way. And there's my happy birthday. And then I'm just going to trim this down like that. And set it on here. And looks like I'm going to need to trim this right about there. And I'm having trouble with straight today, so I may put that on my trimmer. Take my happy birthday and put it on here and trim this edge off. And we can put that in place right across here. Now I will probably add a little something on the inside of this. And with this, if you have some black embellishment. Now in my stash, I found that I had a couple of, this one's almost a charcoal gray, but these are definitely black. And they're probably pretty old, but I think they might just work in this case. And if you have some black enamel dots, or you have some, what do they call them, the dewdrops, Ranger I think puts them out, you could add some black matte dots on here. But I think it might dress this up a little bit to maybe put a couple of black dots on this, just to add a little something something. And on this one, this has got some silver on it that might match my embossing, so I may just add a couple of silver pieces on here, just 3, just to add a little something to it. And actually I like the way those look a little bit better than these, so I'm going to move that one up here a bit and move this one down here a bit. I like the way that looks. All right, well, there we go. That is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. I do so appreciate it. And I'm going to put one more, so we'll have a total of 7 different designs. And on the last one, I'm going to lay out all of them together so you can see them, or all of the designs that we've put together. And on this one, I do want to share these choices. Actually, that would look lovely there too. They're just so much fun to play with, and I'll probably end up making a card for my own stash using each one of these strips, so that I'll have a series of several of them in there to pick for some of my my brothers and other male family members, my sons. And so I think that's actually a very nice looking, very tailored. If you have someone that is more tailored, then something like this I think would go. And actually this would work well for a woman as well. We have our little strip here for the inside of this one, which I'm just going to put down there and cut across here, just so we finish our inside, because people like it so much better when the cards are finished on the inside, and I sure do as well. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue down on here and put this one in place on the inside. And there is no reason that you can't have another sentiment put on the inside. Enjoy your day. You're the best. Any number of things that you could put down on the inside of that one. But just like that, and there we have it. That is my project for the day. Again, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will be back soon with more cards, more tips, and more projects. Bye!